All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
All
Good
right,
evening.
did you get an email from me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's very nice. All right, so we're going to be using that document per se. All right, so I want for you to listen to this media story and then answer the questions that were emailed. What is the news report about? What is the headline of the report? Does it capture the overall report? Can you think of another headline? All right, let me just block this out for now. Yes. Okay, so let me go here. I'm going to share my screen, share sound. Where is it coming up? I think it should be coming up here. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, listen carefully.
Welcome back to Primetime Sports Thursday. A negative COVID-19 test is among the main requirements for all stakeholders who will be directly involved with this year's ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships starting next Tuesday at the National Stadium. This evening, we continue our build-up to the marquee high school sporting event.
The ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships Primetime Sports Preview, brought to you by
athletes, coaches, members of the support staff, meet officials, ISA executives, members of the media, and even the ancillary staff will all have to produce a negative COVID-19 test result as of this Saturday in order to gain accreditation for the 5-day spectacle, which gets underway at 9 a.m. next Tuesday.
As a condition of the approval granted to host this event, ISA has made arrangements for the testing of all participants for COVID-19. Over this weekend, those testing will be done. A negative PCR test no older than 72 hours must be produced to be accredited.
Chairman of the organizing committee, Richard Thompson, also elaborated on how the protocols will be enforced.
Additionally, and equally important, we have adopted in some instances expanded the protocols developed by the J3s and have had training of COVID-19 marshals to enforce these protocols throughout the championships. Teams will be required to adhere to established and approved competition protocols, which will allow for adequate physical distancing and sanitization. The details have been provided in a manual to all teams and will be monitored by an internal COVID-19 logistics committee as well as state agencies for compliance.
Due to the scaled-down measures, the total number of athletes has been significantly reduced, with 507 male competitors from 68 boys teams and 464 female athletes from 61 girls schools entered to compete. A total of 85 finals will be spread over the 5 days of competition, which will run from 9 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. on the first 4 days and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the final day. Meanwhile, General Manager for Broadcast Services at the RJR Gleaner Communications Group, Claire Grant, outlined the magnitude of the blanket coverage to be provided by the group.
TVJ at home, Television Jamaica Sports Network at home, and abroad via One Spot Media on pay-per-view, we're going to ensure that everybody who wants to see this event, who really would have wanted to be in the stands but you can't be, will be able to see it. You will also be able to hear on Hits 92 FM full coverage. Also, Power 106 will be having highlights, and on the last 2 days, full coverage. And this is really very important, we believe, for Jamaica and Jamaicans outside of Jamaica. Already, our pay-per-view has shown once we release those tickets from the first day, people have been signing on because they want to be a part of this really remarkable event.
There will also be a special 30-minute daily roundup on TVJ's YouTube channel. The official launch for the 110th staging of the championships took place in the studios of Television Jamaica on Thursday morning.
the ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships Primetime.
All right, so talk to me about the news report in terms of the questions to be answered. So what is the news report about?
Sir, Chams.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Sir, it's a Boys and Girls Championship 2021. And how the impact of COVID-19.
Okay, all right. What is the headline of the report? Anybody saw the headline?
Negative COVID-19
Participants
test.
must have a negative COVID-19 test result.
Right, so participants must have, was that the exact thing that was said?
Negative
No.
COVID-19 test required for all CHAMS participants.
All right, so that's exactly. Does it capture the overall report based on what you have just listened to?
No, sir, because it said CHAMS participants. Participants are the person that running, right? What about the officials itself? It never state that. So the headline
It says that the participants are just runners. The coaches are also participants.
What about the persons that the other officials different from the coaches? Are they
Are also
classified as
participants? Yes, they're all participants. You are the one
Okay.
limiting the definition of participant, but they're all, once you are involved in the event in any way, shape, or form, in whatever capacity you are a participant, whether it be a coach, whether it be somebody who is sweeping the floor or taking the water to the runners or to the athletes, whatever you're doing, you are a participant. All right, so
Sir, it did not state though that they should wear masks. I hear nothing about masks.
I think you're being a little bit too picky because it says, I don't know that necessarily that you need to wear masks. You can't be running and wearing masks, to be honest. It says that they need a negative COVID test. So I don't know, you cannot run in masks.
Not the running people, them sir, other people. I hear them mention none else outside like them that say. We know there is not going to be any
It's mandatory, so we don't need to tell them to wear mask. And as where the headline as in the news it stated that is remember, we are not going to be there. We will get clippings and we will be able to view online. So why would you need a mask and you're not
not us, Georgia. I'm talking about the other persons, the coaches and so on. That's who I'm talking about. Sir, me never hear them talk about masks. Me not hear them talk about no consistent sanitizing. You know, like when you have some other them outline them somewhere, even though we know.
Well, they did indicate that they're gonna be sanitation station there.
And would that be in a news report as well? Remember, you know, that's not the, I think you're being a little bit too picky and technical. In my estimation, you are being a little bit picky and technical in terms of, you know, it's as if you wanted every single thing to be, remember the focus is not on COVID protocols. In terms of every single COVID protocol is about ISA CHAMS. So I think you're being a little bit too technical. In other words, you're in search of criticism. You know, you're finding, so instead of looking at the good of the thing, you're just say, okay, you know, like some social media users, okay, let me just pick on something bad. But anyway, I don't want to see myself, I'm not attacking you, I'm just saying, I don't think that was the general essence of the report, all right? So what's the title again? Remind me of the title of the report, of the news report.
Negative COVID tests required for all CHAMS participants.
Right, and did the news report speak to that? Not what it should speak to, but what we listen to.
Well, they did mention that to get the approval, a 72 hours test report would have to be given, and ISA will make preparation for everybody to be tested.
All right. Can you think of another headline that we could use instead of that headline that would capture the essence of the news report? Can you think of another headline? I'm listening, guys. Do I need to play it again?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's play it again.
Welcome back to Primetime Sports Thursday. A negative COVID-19 test is among the main requirements for all stakeholders who will be directly involved with this year's ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships starting next Tuesday at the National Stadium. This evening, we continue our build-up to the marquee high school sporting event.
The ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships Primetime Sports Preview, brought to you by
Athletes, coaches, members of the support staff, meet officials, ISA executives, members of the media, and even the ancillary staff will all have to produce a negative COVID-19 test result as of this Saturday in order to gain accreditation for the 5-day spectacle, which gets underway at 9 a.m. next Tuesday.
As a condition of the approval granted to host this event, ISA has made arrangements for the testing of all participants for COVID-19. Over this weekend, those testing will be done. A negative PCR test no older than 72 hours must be produced to be accredited.
Chairman of the organizing committee, Richard Thompson, also elaborated on how the protocols will be enforced.
Additionally, and equally important, we have adopted in some instances expanded the protocols developed by the J3s and have had training of COVID-19 marshals to enforce these protocols throughout the championships. Teams will be required to adhere to established and approved competition protocols, which will allow for adequate physical distancing and sanitization. The details have been provided in a manual to all teams and will be monitored by an internal COVID-19 logistics committee as well as state agencies for compliance.
Due to the scaled-down measures, the total number of athletes has been significantly reduced, with 507 male competitors from 68 boys teams and 464 female athletes from 61 girls schools entered to compete. A total of 85 finals will be spread over the 5 days of competition, which will run from 9 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. on the first 4 days and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the final day. Meanwhile, General Manager for Broadcast Services at the RJR Gleaner Communications Group, Claire Grant, outlined the magnitude of the blanket coverage to be provided by the group.
TVJ at home, Television Jamaica Sports Network at home, and abroad via One Spot Media on pay-per-view, we're going to ensure that everybody who wants to see this event, who really would have wanted to be in the stands but you can't be, will be able to see it. You will also be able to hear on Hits 92 FM full coverage. Also, Power 106 will be having highlights, and on the last 2 days, full coverage. And this is really very important, we believe, for Jamaica and Jamaicans outside of Jamaica. Already, our pay-per-view has shown once we release those tickets from the first day, people have been signing on because they want to be a part of this really remarkable event.
There will also be a special 30-minute daily roundup on TVJ's YouTube channel. The official launch for the 110th staging of the championships took place in the studios of Television Jamaica on Thursday morning.
the ISA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships Primetime.
All right, talk to me now about an alternate headline. I'm listening.
Sir, the magnitude and blanket coverage of how the ISA Boys and Girls Championship will be viewed.
Well, that's not what the essence of the report is about, though. That's changing the nature of what the focus of the report, of the news report. It has to sound similar to the original headline. So it's not the same thing, but it must echo the same thing. Can anybody
Sir, can it
yes.
be all participants for ISA Boys and Girls Championship should produce a negative COVID-19
So all
test result?
participants for
ISA Boys and Girls Championship
ISA Boys and Girls Championship
should produce a negative COVID-19 test result.
a negative COVID-19 test result. All right, what was the original title?
The original title was negative COVID-19 test required for all participants.
All right, is there any, yes?
What if, like, at the end of the start have
You have to give me the statement. Don't ask me anything. I want you to give me the statement to write.
A 72 hours negative COVID result is needed to participate in champs.
No, that's actually, to say to participate could mean that you're talking about persons coming to the stands. All right, let's write that one. Let's write it. 72 hours.
Negative COVID result is required to participate in champs.
Test result is required to participate in champs 2021. All right, so all participants for ISA Boys and Girls Championship should produce a negative COVID test. All right, so let's look at this word should. Is this word okay? Because this word they use in theirs is what? Required. Should suggest that you have an option. So you don't must. Do you see that? So we'd have to change this word, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because required.
Must. It should be must.
Right. So I would more use must. All right, so must produce a negative COVID test result. A 72-hour negative COVID test result is required to participate in champs. I would say for all participants, it's relatively okay. My only thing is that to participate probably is a little bit ambiguous, although some people would say that participants is as well. So a 72-hour negative COVID test result is required to participate in Champs 20. It's okay, it can be used. And all participants for ISA Boys and Girls Championship must produce a negative COVID test result. Both are okay. Both are okay. I can see them working. Let's change this one. This is what the students had written before. Okay. So let's go back. And this is what I need to change. No color. This day students wrote alternate. All champs participants required to provide a negative COVID test. It was a little bit too, it was somewhat close to the first, but at least they also used the word should. I noticed I took it out. All right, so these are very good headlines. So it's very important for you to make note of the fact that the headline for a news release is very important, because the moment I read your headline, I should be able to know what the article
Get an idea.
No, it's not get an idea. I should know what the article is about. The article is about that all participants in champs have to have a negative COVID test. I should not be left wondering. And the other thing too, why it is important, it is your headline that gets the attention of the editor in the media house. So that too, you have to be very mindful of. No fluff, no metaphor, no simile. In other words, no figurative language use. It must be literal language, no figures of speech. All right, let's look at this now. Writing the headline. Oh, you're not going to be able to see my screen. So let me go to share screen. Oh no, that's not share screen. And this is just a general how to turbocharge your writing for public relations. And I'm just going to go specifically to the sections that deals with headlines. And what they're doing now is showing you the drafts of headlines. So imagine you present an author. She's speaking at a public school. Riveting, not yet. First draft of the headline, local author speaks in front of elementary school. So one, local author, we don't know who the author is and we don't know where this place is in terms of local. Although usually when it says local, meaning that it could be the parish or the province or the state or so forth, all right? Notice now what they've done in draft 2. Do you see any new word in draft 2?
Yes, sir, environmental.
So environmental, why do you think the word environmental was added?
To be more specific.
Right? So in other words, environmental is qualifying what? The word author. So it functions as what is called an adjective. Adjectives modify or give meaning, additional meaning to nouns. So environmental author. So this is draft 2. Still not very specific because we don't know which elementary school and we don't know who's this environmental author. Let's look at draft 3. Local environmental author speaks at elementary school on Earth Day and teaches kids how to reduce plastic use by 30%. A little bit more specific, right? A little bit more specific?
Yes, sir.
All right. So keep searching for better and more inventive and specific hooks. The headline are called hooks. So news report ranks top US citizens for bedlam. And these are just different examples of headlines. And we're going to look at a few examples. Let's see now. Share screen. All right, there are 2 headlines. Are you seeing the 2 headlines? 2 headlines. Which one do you think speaks to the specificity of what could be in an article or in a media release? So you have government announces revenue shortfalls may reduce services. New York City government to experience reduction in civil services due to drop in revenue.
Sir, the one that say New York City government to experience reduction in civil service due to drop in
because thank you, because New York City qualifies what government, right? And when it speaks about reduction in reduced services, we know that we're talking about what? Civil services, right? So this is more specific than this. This is a little bit too general or too generic. So here's some information about headline now. So it says provide a good headline, a good online news release headline provides information, not a marketing pitch or advertisement, contains the keywords people are likely to search to get the information like this, gets a reader's attention quickly and makes a reader want to learn more. And they're giving you an example over here. Resort Quest expands vacation rental operations into the Alabama Gulf Coast area. And they're showing you, for example, Google characters have a specific headline limit. In other words, the Google, and I think Google might have changed the number of characters they now use. So 60 characters, meaning the 60 letters in the word. So the first 60 words, that's how they will crawl it. This is why your headline needs to be very specific. For Yahoo, it's 130 characters. For PR Web, it's 170 characters. I didn't check to see the current figures, but it might have changed by now. All right. The other thing now, what I want for you to do for me now, I'm going to put in 4 groups, and some groups it might end up not being 4 groups, but probably pairs. And you're going to write a headline. You're going to write a headline for each. So group 1, you're going to write a headline for the first one. Group 2, you're going to write a headline for 2. Group 3, you're going to write a headline for 3. Group 4, you're going to write a headline for 4, okay? You have this document, right? Because I sent it to you, but I'm still going to post it in the chat. So let me so the first one I'm posting is for group 1.
So, sir, all we do is just writing an headline.
Yes, that's all you're doing, writing a headline.
Okay, sir.
So this is for group 2. The second one is for group 2. For group 3, where you see the website, I just put it there for reference, okay? All right, so I'm going to put you in the breakout room and give you about 10 minutes to, oh, I have to claim host before. Let's stop sharing. I can't let you guys see the host key. Next thing you shut me out. Claim host. Let's see the host key. All right, so I'm going to put it in the breakout room, 4 groups, 2 per, it's going to be pair. It's going to be pair. All right, 10 minutes. It's now 7:35, so at 7:45, I'm going to close the breakout room. Just the headline. So room 1, you're doing the first one. Room 2, you're doing the second one. Room 3, you're doing the third one. Room 4, you're doing the fourth one, okay? Just the headline.
Sir,
Yes.
I was bumped out of group 2. My internet dropped.
Okay, so why am I not seeing you here to say that I should add you back? And you're not able to enter on your own?
No, sir, it didn't bring me in back.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing you being able to enter the room. I'm not sure. Hold on. Why is it not allowing you to go into the breakout room? I don't know why it's not helping. Just all right. So I guess you have to just work on your own then, because it's not allowing you to go into the breakout. No, but you can go in the breakout room on your own because it's telling me that you can. That's why it's saying that I don't have to. Try again for me.
All right, sir, I'll try again.
All right, so I want you to post your headline in the chat. Post your headline in the chat. So room 1, Renee and Sajel. Room 2, Dervit and Georgette. Room 3, Karian and Patricia. Room 4, Jaheem and Nicole. Post your headline in the chat. I'm not seeing any posting going on. What's happening? All right. So Georgette. Renee, that's not a headline. The verb is missing. There is need for a verb. Carry on, room 3. What about, I'm not seeing room 3.
Typing.
Say that again.
I'm typing it, sir.
You're taking too long. What about room 4, Nicole and Jaheem? I'm not seeing anything from you guys. Nicole, did you do anything?
Sorry, look back on that one, please.
It needs some fixing.
Sir, I'm typing it. I'm using my phone.
So I've given one. Over 250 students will graduate from Excelsior Community College's second virtual graduation ceremony. I've given another one. I kind of shortened some of the words. Are you finished typing? ECC now offers a master's degree program in, hold on. ECC now offers a master's degree program in phlebotomy. Apply now to secure your spot. Did we not read? One of the first guidelines you got was what? Your headline cannot be an advertisement. Remember, that was one of the first things I said, that your headline cannot be an advertisement. So this whole notion of applying, no, that's a call to action. It's not a media release. It's not an ad.
Yes, sir, I came on late. That's why.
All right, let's see this one. Online art courses now offered at, located at, no, this one needs revision, serious revision. Because if it is a new campus, I don't get that this is so new campus. So online art courses now offered at the Excelsior Community College located at, no, it is even, the sentencing even needs revision. But nonetheless, this is a start, okay? Please remember that this is going to end up being a graded thing that you have to upload to Turnitin. All right, so we have some good ones and we have some that need revision. Let's go back now to another part of. So notice the examples that I wrote. The angle of my the title of my release is a little bit different. So I go to head of this scientific research council. I just didn't write it out. Dr. Shara Watson to be given honorary fellowship at ECC second virtual graduation ceremony. So I took it from a different angle. And then this other one, over 250 students will graduate from Excelsior Community College's second virtual graduation ceremony. All right. So I like the ones, let me tell you the ones that I think were relatively good, but this was a safe one from Georgette. Excelsior Community College Awards ceremony to be held on May 25. You can't say May 25th. It is the 25th of May or May 25. All right, May 25th is correct in America, but it's incorrect in Jamaica because we use the British system. So that one is, but that's a safe one. The one Excelsior Community College class of 22, well, this has serious sentencing issue. Again, the one written by Social White, you need to look at your sentencing. All right, so it needs some amount, you guys need to practice. Now we move on to what is called, let me share a screen just for you to be able to see what I'm doing. And I don't think right, I gave an example. Looking at the lead or the opening paragraph. The lead or the opening paragraph. I think I can undo this. No. All right, so the lead or the opening paragraph answers the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. All right, let's listen to the lead. Listen to some additional information about the lead. Please take note because you're going to get a class activity as well.
Perfect words.
Welcome to Crafting the Journalistic Lead with Peter BG.
Are you hearing?
This video will tell you the nuts and bolts of a journalistic lead.
Okay.
Now, the lead is the most important sentence in your article. It appears at the beginning and should have your best, most interesting, most insightful information. Unlike a typical essay for English class, where you save your best ideas for the conclusion, the lead, the first sentence, has all of your best stuff. Why? Well, the reason is that you want to hook your reader. And by putting your best, most concise, most informative writing right up top, you have the greatest chance of not only hooking a reader, but also informing your reader. One of the first things you consider is who is your story about? Who is doing the action? Who has had action done to him or her? What is your story about? What has happened? What will happen? What is happening? When will it happen? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Where will it happen? Why did it happen, or why is it happening? Or why will this happen? And finally, how did it happen? Let's take a look at an example. Here in this example, I have highlighted in various colors the 6 different elements of a lead. In this example, we begin with the why. But any lead could really begin with any of the 6 topics. So let's take a look. In order to be sure his deliveries will arrive in time for Christmas, Santa Claus is looking to hire 300 temporary elves the week before Christmas to help with worldwide present distribution at his North Pole facility. So who is this about? Well, it's about Santa Claus. And what is he doing? He's looking to hire 300 temporary elves. When is he looking for these elves? The week before Christmas. Where are they going to work? At his North Pole facility. Why? Well, he wants to be sure his deliveries arrive in time for Christmas. And how are they going to do this? They're going to assist with the distribution of presents. So as you can see, this lead really answers all 6 of those questions. And I chose to go with the why, to start with the why. So what you are going to do in your lead rewrite example is pick a different one of these elements to start your lead. So for example, if you're going to try going with the where, it might be something like this. Santa Claus's North Pole facility will be bustling with activity. Okay, and then you would finish the rest of your lead, but you're really right there establishing the setting, establishing the where. The North Pole facility, it's going to be busy. That is your task, is to choose a lead and rewrite it, making the focus one of these 6 or one of the 5 other lead elements, depending on which element your original lead led with. So just like my example here leads with the why, if I was rewriting this lead, I could choose any of the 5 other focuses: who, when, what, where, or how. And this has been lead creation from Peter BG. Right?
All right, so you were just introduced to the 5 whys, but it's really, this ended up being 6. You'll find that whenever you're writing, your lead must have the 5 W's, I should say, the 5 W's: the who, the when, the why, the what, the where. And they usually contrast or alternate between why and how. All right, I've just shared just this clipping in the WhatsApp group so that when you're writing your own, you can look back to make sure that these things are there. Let's look at an example of, let's try to see if we can actually answer some of the W's from this headline. Excelsior Community College launches smart lecture rooms at its main campus. All right, and we are now, this is just the headline. Usually so what we're doing, we're trying to come up with the 5 W's and then probably write the lead itself. So what could be, so what is the who? Can we identify the who based on this headline? Hello?
Excelsior Community College would be the who.
All right, so Excelsior Community College would be the who. So let's see if we can do some color coding now. So this is the who. What would be, do we know the what? So what is Excelsior Community College doing or offering or?
Launching smart lectures.
So Excelsior is doing a launch, right? So that color is, so let's say they're doing a launch of smart rooms, but let's put it at that. Do we know when?
No, sir.
No, or we don't know when. Let's see if we can remove this. Let's see if we can remove this. So the lot is launches. The when now, I think we would have to just make up the when, right? The when, so we have made it up May 30, 2021. Do we know where?
Main campus.
Main campus.
Right. Do we know why? We'd have to make up the why, right?
Why, right.
We'd have to make up the why, okay. All right. And do we know how? How are they doing this?
No.
They are doing it, we don't know, so we are making it up, right? It's a collaboration between Ministry of Technology and the Ministry of Education. Is it possible for us to write an actual lead using this example. So we probably could write, so let us see if we can, this is just a draft lead. We could say, what are we starting with? Are we starting with the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, or the how?
The who.
So you sure we could start with the how, you know? So we could say in collaboration with the ministries of technology and education, youth and information, Excelsior Community College. Talk to me now, people. What should come next?
Launches a smart lecture room.
Launches, let's say several. Let's say 3. We can't say several, is too vague. 3 smart
lecture
rooms.
When?
At its main campus.
Then the date.
On
May 30.
So we normally put the day, May 30th. Let's say May 30th is a Saturday. Saturday, May 30.
2021.
These smart, not say this. This initiative is to assist students to multitask and create simulations for their practical courses and exams. This might not be even be the final of it, but let's work with this for now, all right? Because I just want you to get a sense of how to do it. So we're seeing the lead, right, people?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is the lead. This is the example of the lead. So in collaboration with the Ministries of Technology, and I deliberately put a comma here because it's showing that this is different. And education, Excelsior Community College launches 3 smart lecture rooms at its main campus. So it can't be launches, it has to be will launch. Do we see that?
Yes, sir.
Will launch because it hasn't happened yet. It's okay in the title because launch is meaning that it's something that is going to happen. Will launch 3 smart lecture rooms at its main campus on Saturday, May 30. This initiative is to assist students to multitask and create simulations for their practical courses and exams. Let's work with it for now. We are not sure it's finished. Okay, let's work with it for now. We're still looking at sample lead example. Yes.
Basically, we're using what they give us here for the who, the what, when, and put it in a lead sentence.
No, this is just an example. You have to come up with all of that when I give you the work to do.
Oh, I have to come up with the who, what, when, and all of these?
Yes,
and lay them out like this and then put it in a lead sentence?
No, you don't do it like that. This is just because this is classwork. When I give it to us as assignment, you have to just write the press release. But we're not finished yet, okay? I'm just walking you through the different stages. Right. So what I'm doing, I'm walking you through the different stages of the release. So we did the headline already. Now we're at the lead, which is the first paragraph or the opening paragraph, which is only a sentence or 2. Let's now look at some examples, sample lead examples. Let's identify the 5 W's in each. Are we able to identify, let's look at the second one. So the second one says, all right, so this part, let me draw and show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to speak to it. No, that's not what I want. I was supposed to be able to draw. Cut off, hold on, stop draw. All right, so let me draw again and show you what I'm talking about. Draw, I said. What the? Right. What they call this again? Jesus, I keep it. This part I'll speak to you about. All right. I keep forgetting the name. I soon tell you the name. I keep forgetting. All right. So this is the lead. Notice, as I said before, the lead is only a sentence or two. A sentence or two. Let's look at the second one. Okay. With Father's Day around the corner, many fun, family-oriented activities celebrate Dad's special day. Live Oak Music Festival taking place Father's Day weekend, July 15 to 17 in Santa Ynez, if that's how it's pronounced, offers just that opportunity with music, food, and fun for the entire family. So this is the lead. Can we identify the who? Who is this talking about?
Fathers.
So it is talking about fathers. What is it saying about fathers if it is talking about fathers?
So it is talking about Father's Day and the many activities that will take place.
You're giving me too many things. The who is usually singular. So it is talking about what?
Father.
It is talking about
Father's
fathers.
Day. Father's Day, sir.
All right. So it's talking about Father's Day. Or is it talking about Live Oak Music Festival?
Yes, sir. Live Oak Music Festival for Father's Day.
All right. What is it saying about the Live Oak Music Festival?
That is a fun family-oriented activity.
So that it will be a family fun activity. All right. So it's a family fun-filled day. In other words, you don't necessarily need to use the words of the thing. All right. When is it taking place?
July 15 to 17.
Where is it taking place?
Santa Ynez.
If that's how it's pronounced. Why is it taking place?
To celebrate fathers.
To celebrate Father's Day. Or to celebrate fathers on Father's Day. So we realize that what is the release about then? What is the release about then?
Is it about the celebration of Father's Day?
The release is about the Live Oak Music Festival. You have to be able to identify these things. Then if you can't, you're going to have problems writing your own release. All right. So it is about the Live Oak Music Festival. And what is it saying about the Live Oak Music Festival is that it is taking place on Father's Day. Why is it taking place on Father's Day? So that people are able, or families are able to celebrate Father's Day or celebrate Father's Day with their families. Where is it taking place? We know it is taking place here. When is it taking place? We know it is taking place there. All right. If you're unable to identify the 5 W's in your lead, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Once you're not able to identify your 5 W's. All right. Here are 2 leads, and I want for you to tell me if both leads are okay or one is better than the other. I'm listening.
Sir, we are reading it, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you asked which, all right, so comparing the lead for the first one and the second one, the second one, it doesn't state where due to an unexpected fall in revenue becoming here, the mayor's office made an announcement this morning after mounting reports of economic turmoil. It didn't state where the report was made. It didn't tell. So it have why. Where then? It has the who. It has.
Which one are you talking? The first one or the second one?
The second one.
Okay.
So it has who, because the who would have been the government, the mayor's office. It didn't state, or it state when, which would have been when would have been this morning. It didn't
so which
state
one is
where.
which one is the better of the two?
So the first one.
Right, because I'm wondering then why are you elaborating on the second one then?
Sorry,
I was
sir.
wondering
I was
why are you elaborating on that
explaining
one?
myself to say that it didn't have some things.
Right, because even here when it says due to an unexpected fall in certain services, this alone gives you some amount of what? Red flags. Because which specific services are you talking about? All right, so if you look at this one now, New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg announced this morning that due to a lack of revenue from drops in tourism, funding to many civil programs will have to be cut back over the next year. The changes are likely to affect those who rely on publicly funded services like schools and veterans hospitals. All right, and again, remember that the lead is only 2 sentences. This is called the date line. I always, the headline and the date line. I don't know why I keep forgetting the date line. So this is the city and this is the date and this is the year, and you put a dash and then you write, okay? All right, so what I want for you
to go back, please. Sorry.
I sent this document to you, you know.
Email?
Yes, I did. That's this is why I because I know it's a long document and we're going to use it, I made sure to send it to you guys. Are you finished looking at this?
Yes, sir, you can proceed.
All right, so now we're going to do some practice now. I want for you to write a lead sentence or so remember, write a lead sentence. Let me put in bracket sentences, which means 1 or 2 sentences for one of these or for the headline that you just wrote. All right. And then when you're finished, I want you to put it in the chat. I'm not putting it in the breakout room. I'm just giving you 10 minutes. So at 8:26, I'm going to start asking questions. 8:23 rather.
Sir?
Yes?
You said something about breakout room, Kawal?
No, I said you're going to do it on your own. I'm not going to put you in any breakout room. So when you're finished with your lead sentence or sentences, you put it in the chat and we discuss.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right, so I'm only seeing 2. Where are the others? I'm not understanding why I'm not seeing. So Sojel, that's not a lead. That's not a lead statement. That's more like a headline. That's not a lead statement. Remember, capital letters, Dervet Williams, you should know when to use capital letters. Excelsior Community College is a proper noun. Therefore, each word must begin with a capital letter. If you say virtual, you don't need to say via Zoom. All right, you don't necessarily need to say via Zoom. It's a bit redundant. I would not include the Zoom there.
Okay,
Could, but
sir.
you could, but I wouldn't include it. Although I know where you put it because the where.
Yes, sir.
Right, it's the where. So don't say the Excelsior. The college is not the. It is Excelsior Community College will be hosting a virtual graduation. Will be hosting its virtual graduation ceremony, not but its virtual graduation ceremony in November 2020 to celebrate the graduating class of 2021. I would add that I would put a different sentence. The ceremony will be streamed via Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
Okay, sir.
So that's probably how I would put it. I'm not seeing anything from the others, and I'm going to definitely move on. So very good attempt, Dervet, just needs a little bit tweaking. Social, the one that you wrote is not a lead, it's more a headline. All right, so parts of the press release, let's look at various parts of the press release, and I'm going to stop sharing because I am going to go into my Kindle, and just briefly introduce you to a few concepts. Well, just reinforce some of what I've said before. Let me just see if I have the right page. All right, let's just go quickly. 825. All right, so some of this I've said before. So the anatomy of the press release, meaning that what are the components or the elements of a press release. So we did talk about the headline, and it says a headline has to grab people's attention. And the best headlines are simple one-sentence explanations of a press release's purpose and origin. And sometimes it has a subheading or a subhead, I just call it subheading, which is an additional sentence that provides newsworthy details that either create a new hook or angle for the media or supports the previous hook given in the headline. It's not compulsory. The dateline, the word I constantly forget, it appears before the actual release begins, and they list a city and state then the date when a press release is issued, as we saw in the previous example. Then you have the opening paragraph, which is the lead. And it says the first paragraph can often be thought of as an executive summary, quote unquote, to a press release because it will be skimmed by readers trying to see if reading the whole release is worth their time. This is important, and as it says, it's usually a sentence or 2. Then you have the body paragraphs, and it says 3 to 5 paragraphs in the body that flesh out the information. And the 3 to 5 paragraphs are very short. It can be a sentence or 2. All right, can be a sentence or 2. Then you have, why do I think I missed something? Then you have, what is wrong with this thing? Then you have what is called the boilerplate, and it is optional. So a boilerplate is a short paragraph that provides a little background information about the company or person issuing a press release. Usually companies just have a standard boilerplate. So for example, Excelsior Community College, founded in 1972, I hope I'm saying this right, it's the largest community college in Jamaica, offering over 60-degree programs, master's degree, something like that, all right? Then you have the contact information. They talk about the whys now, the 5 W's, sorry. The what of the press release, the who of the press release, in other words, what is the press release about? Identify the source of the release. And they're looking, they said, let's take a look at the headline and an opening excerpt from a press release that fails to identify its target audience. And it's the same example. we're comparing the two examples where it says, due to an unexpected fall in revenue, certain services will have to cut back in the coming year. We don't know which services. The mayor's office made the announcement this morning after mounting reports of economic turmoil, as opposed to this one that is more specific. And it says neither of the headline nor the opening sentences addresses the basics of the information. There's no indication of where this is an issue, who it will affect, and how widespread is the problem, as opposed to here. All right, we looked at that example. The where no is both the headline and the opening paragraph of a press release should make it easy to determine where an event is being held or announcement made. And it goes through and it goes through and it goes through. These are other things that we can look at another time. I think I'm seeing some other persons posting in the chat. Let's just see. Georgette, so I'm seeing two things from Georgette. Will be hosting their first virtual graduation ceremony November 20. Their platforms will be, I wouldn't put it like that. Capital letter abuse as again. All right, so let's, are we understanding? Am I going too fast? Are you guys understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so again, no, I'm still going to introduce you to the parts of a press release, but this time it takes the form of a video. All right, and as I said before, guys, you can take notes.
Multimedia contact information.
Share screen.
Email address and your social
hearing?
media contact. It's also a good idea.
Were you hearing?
Yes, sir.
Extremely viable way to get exposure for your business is to get news coverage from the media. I'm going to show you how to create a great press release that gets noticed. A grand opening, a new product, a record-setting sales year, a new location, or a special event are all good reasons to contact the media and send them a press release. It's important for any business owner to know how to write one that not only gets noticed, but actually turns into news coverage. Here are the things you need to know in order to write a killer press release. Now, to ensure readability, your press release should follow this standard format. It should be typed, double-spaced, and on white letterhead, with the contact person's name, title, company, address, and phone number in the upper right-hand corner. The words "for immediate release" should go at the top of the page on the left margin in capital letters. The headline, usually in bold, should be centered below that. A subtitle can be included in italics that briefly elaborates on the headline. Your headline should be brief, clear, and a condensed version of the press release's key points. It might be helpful to write down your headline at the end, after the rest of the press release is written, so that it clearly defines the overall point of the release. The press release should be written as you want it to appear in the news story. Some journalists simply don't have the time to research your company's story and may use what you've written or make small changes. So whatever you want them to say needs to be clearly laid out in your press release. Now let's look at the body content. The first paragraph should have the most important information. Start with the date and the city in which the press release originates. The lead, or the first sentence, should grab the reader and say concisely what is happening. The first 2 to 3 sentences should sum up the release, and the rest of the paragraphs must elaborate on that. The second and third paragraphs should have secondary information. Make sure you deal with the actual facts here. Events, products, services, people, targets, goals, plans, projects, etc. It's always a good idea to include quotes from people involved. They give a human element to the release and are a great source of information. Your boilerplate is next. This is the area where you say more on your company. Who are you? What are your achievements? And what's your mission? This, followed by your contact information, gives more detail about the writer. If your story is to be considered, this is how the media will get in contact with you to find out more information. Make sure to include multimedia contact information, such as your email address and your social media contact. It's also a good idea to include a link to an online copy of the same press release if possible. Lastly, signal the end of the press release with 3 hash symbols. Center these directly underneath the last line of the release. This is the journalistic standard. Before sending, make sure that your press release has been proofread and is free from all grammatical errors. It's always best to keep your release to 1 page, but 2 pages is the absolute maximum. An extremely smart way to promote your business is through a clear, concise, attention-grabbing press release. Now that you know how to write your own, be sure to notify the media anytime that you do something newsworthy. For more information,
All right, so what are the various components or elements of a press release? I am listening.
It should be typed.
That's not a component. I said various components of a press release.
Sir, the heading and the subheading.
So we said the heading.
And the
Is
subheading.
the heading or is the headline?
Headline, sorry, sir.
The headline.
That should be in bold and all caps.
Not necessarily. Sometimes you don't find them in all caps. Sometimes the all caps is a little bit, sounds as if you're shouting. So I don't put my press releases in all caps. And there are so many press releases that do not have all caps.
Sir, it must be clear and precise.
Is that an element? Listen to my question. Elements of a press release. We have the headline. What else do we have?
Sir, the boiler pot.
The boilerplate, which is the last paragraph that really gives us the essence of a company. What else do we have?
Sir, we need to have our company logo. That should be on the top left-hand corner of your press release.
Yes, what else?
Sir, your company name.
I just taught you something, people. Why am I hearing everything except what I taught you earlier before the video? What were we writing earlier that I told you to post in the chat? Starts with L, people.
Lean.
The lead.
Lead.
The lead.
The lead.
Lead.
So we have the lead. And we have the dateline. I thought people would have said that long time because that's one of the first things. I went from the headline to the lead to the dateline. That's one of the first things I did. And I didn't hear that when I was asking. All right, Patricia Williams has something to facilitate personal requests. I don't like this to facilitate personal requests. That part. And the second part is a little bit generic, but it's okay. All right, so we were introduced to those. Here we have these are the components or the elements of a press release. So we have the contact details, we have the headline, the subheading, which is really optional. It's not always, you don't necessarily have to have it. You have the lead, which is 1 or 2 sentences. The opening paragraph, the opening body paragraph, or say the first body paragraph, it usually quotes somebody who is associated with the event or whatever the main focus is. So if it was ISA, you notice in the news report they quoted they quoted ISA president or the president of ISA. So usually the first, I like to call it the first body paragraph, is a quote. So if you look here, they say, "We are pleased," and you ensure that you break it and then break it like here, and then you continue the quote And then you have the boilerplate, which is really a summation of the company. Let's look at, oh yes, there's something else I want to show you. Where did I have that? Is it in this? Right, here. Oh yes, so this is just I'm just giving you a graphic representation of the elements of the press release. And now I'm going to provide some additional information. So writing the body paragraphs, the purpose is to provide additional information. Remember to keep your tone neutral and objective, like a newscaster versus an advertisement. The main body is typically 2 to 3 paragraphs, however, can be as brief as 1 paragraph, but I don't recommend that. Don't add irrelevant information if it's not significant. The paragraphs below can be flipped depending on the material, and they're giving you some example. So the body copy now, which is the body paragraphs, elaborate on who, what, when, where, why, and how in more detail. If you didn't cover this information in its entirety in the lead paragraph or have additional important details to add. Next paragraph, add details to your press release that support your claim, add interest or reinforce what you're trying to say. Examples include quotes from yourself or other people, customers, experts, for example, and the summary or more detailed paragraph gives you that. Then you have and they're giving you some examples. Usually the paragraph that comes after the lead is usually a quote. So we stand by or whatever, and then the other paragraph now gives additional information. And then you have the final paragraph. I don't like necessarily the term call to action because some persons might interpret that as advertisement. So I prefer additional information. The final paragraph may be as less as 1 or 2 sentences providing customers, for example, with a phone number to call to register. They give you an example. And then you have the boilerplate. All right, and here is a press release. What I want for you to do for me, I think I sent this to you guys. I want for you to identify the elements or the components of a press release, looking at this example. Let me center it. All right. Are we able to identify the various components of a press release?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is
headline.
This? That's the headline. This is the
subheading.
This is the
contact detail.
All right, this is
that is the
date.
Lead.
The date line.
Date.
Oh, sorry, the deadlines.
Yes. This is the
lead.
The lead.
This is the
quote.
The first body paragraph, which is usually a quote. And these are the remaining body. How many body paragraphs are we seeing?
2, 1, 3.
3 body paragraphs. Here they are, right? And then this is the
conclusion.
This is the boilerplate.
Boilerplate.
Terms, please. Remember too, in your press release, you're supposed to have the 3 hashtags to show that it's come to indicate to the. So where are my hashtags? Oh yes. And you center it to indicate that the release is closed. This means that the release is closed. All right, let's look at, what I want for you to do for me, I want you to, this is where I'm going to put it in groups now, because I want you to actually write, so I want you to give me the headline, the dateline, the lead, and the first body paragraph, contact details and all of that, okay? But I'm going to put it in, instead of, let me recreate this and reduce the groups. No, I'm going to reduce it. Let's reduce it to 2 groups. All right, so you're going to choose anyone that you have written so far and give me the contact details, the headline, the dateline, the lead, and the opening body paragraph. Is that okay? 2 groups, 10 minutes. And you must share screen, okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I've opened the breakout rooms, 10 minutes. Stopping you at 8:53. Like that, All right. Let me see what you guys, group one, are you able to share? Go ahead, let me see what you have.
Sir, we were having some issues with the device, so we didn't really reach anywhere.
What device were you having issues with?
Well, only one person have a tablet using. I'm using my phone and the other persons are using their phone.
Oh, okay. All right, group two, let me see what you have. Group two. All right, let's see. You need to make up the information. Excelsior Community College. No, normally that's not what you put there. You put somebody's name, an actual person's name and information so that they call somebody. They can't call and ask for Excelsior Community College. They have to be calling for somebody directly because somebody wrote the release, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. The subheading, what's this subheading? I suggest you remove it because it doesn't add any additional. The subheading or the subhead is just to give additional information to the heading. This doesn't do that, so you remove it. I would remove it. All right, the easiest way for you to learn to write press releases too is just to look at examples on the Gleaner. All right, so stop sharing for me. Thanks. I realize that you guys never got a chance to complete it. But the easiest way for you to write press releases is just to go to the Gleaner or the Observer website. Let me just share quickly and show you, and then we go. Okay, here it is. All of these on the once you go to news, or most of these are actually press releases. All right, let's go home. All right, most of these are press releases. Low turnout for face-to-face classes, Fantasy League for champs, Carifta called off. Most of these are actually press releases. So if you click on this article, you see the date line. The date is, well, they put the date up here. You see the low turnout for face-to-face classes at Clarendon College. In other words, the turnout was very, very low. Not many students are there. You see the lead, and then you have, if you realize this one is a little long in terms of the body paragraphs, and there's no boilerplate, which is optional, as I did indicate to you. This is a much longer press release because the writer felt the need to provide the audience with adequate information or with additional information. This is over 500 schools. Okay, here's another press release. Over 500 schools reopened this morning for face-to-face classes. I think this is a much shorter one. Yes, it is a shorter or longer one. It's a shorter one. Usually, as I said to you before, when you're writing press releases, I usually just find an example that is close to what I want to write about and just read it carefully and somewhat mimic it. Don't have to do that. They, at least when in my early days as a public relations officer, now I kind of write them just very quickly off the top of my head because it is now second nature. All right, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. On Wednesday, you'll get the actual press release assignment. The only homework I want for you from you now is for you to, I want for you to find a press release that you consider to be very good and talk to us about it, about the various elements that are there and why you think it's a very good press release, okay? That's the homework.
Okay, sir.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, sir. Same.
All right, stay
Good
safe
night, sir.
until I see you guys on Wednesday.